once when I was 16. I worked for one weekend when I was 16. I was in an acting class with my friend. At the end of the day, our teacher came up to us and said, "Hey, would you two be interested in doing some acting work for me this weekend?" I said, yeah, that's great. And we both agreed. And we didn't ask what it was, and we agreed to it. It wasn't porn. See, you're thinking it now. No, it wasn't porn. It was, you know, in Disneyland where they have the princesses, the characters going around interacting with all the children. She wanted us to do that, but in our local theme park, which is called Pleasureland. It wasn't porn. Okay? It wasn't. But no, yeah, she wanted us to do that in the fair, interact with the children. And I was a teddy bear, so I had this big teddy bear costume on, and you know, it was a pretty easy job. I just had to walk around the fair, wave and smile. Well, I didn't have to smile because I had a big bear head on, so inside the costume I was just kind of. But you know, that was just for one weekend, and something quite weird happened on the last day, on the Sunday evening. As everyone was leaving the park, I was just sort of wandering around as a bear, and I felt this hand tap my shoulder, and I turned around, and this woman handed me her child. And I don't mean like a 5-year-old or like a toddler. It was a newborn baby wrapped up in a blanket, and she just gave it to me. She just handed me it, and she didn't even say anything. And I couldn't say anything either because I was a bear. You know, so I took the baby and held it and sort of nodded at her, and she took a step back to take a picture, and I sort of was like, oh, here we go. And then she took a few more steps back to get a better view. And then she took a few more steps back towards the car park to probably get some battery cameras out of the car or something. And then she got in the car and she drove off, presumably to go home and get a different camera. She left, is what I'm saying. She came into the fair and gave her baby to me and then left. And it was, you know, it was a bit of a weird moment in my life, to be honest, where I didn't think I'd ever be, you know, stood in a fair, in a bear costume, holding onto a stranger's baby, and say stranger was gone. And, but there was about maybe a minute before security came and found me where I had this baby and the mother was gone, and I just sort of looked down at this child with my bare eyes and thought, oh wow, this baby is mine now. And I don't know why I thought that. I don't know why when I went there, I suddenly lived in a different universe where when a child is abandoned, that child becomes whoever finds the child first, you know, the new parent, like some hideous finders keepers with children. And you know, and if that was the world we were living in, I mean, that does beg the question, I mean, whose baby was that? Was it mine? Or the bear's? Because, I mean, I wasn't going to be the bear again, you know, someone else was going to be the bear next week. So when I hand the costume over, I should be like, oh yeah, also, you're responsible for this baby. And then every week, whenever the bear changes, and this child just ends up becoming owned by all these different people in a bear costume. And then what happens when no one's wearing the costume? And is that child temporarily orphaned? I mean, what's going on? Well, you know, whenever I think back to this time when I was, you know, just 16, and left with this child, and I just thought, wow, I almost had a baby. Which is also what I thought last year when I had my abortion. Speaking of which, Valentine's Day is next week. Or in a couple of weeks, that's a nice transition. I'm a bit indifferent about Valentine's Day. Not because I'm like bitter, because I've never had a boyfriend on Valentine's Day. Because up until quite recently, I was in a 3-year relationship. So I can quite confidently say that I've done 3 Valentine's Days with an actual human boy. And I was trying to come up with a Valentine's Day story. I was thinking, what can I talk about that I did on Valentine's Day? But then I realised I don't remember. Because Valentine's Day is shit. And you don't remember it. I did nothing memorable. I don't remember where I was, where we went, what gifts I got, what gifts I gave. I don't remember anything about Valentine's Day because it's just a day, isn't it? You know, what do you do on Valentine's Day? You go on a date. Well, you could do that any day, couldn't you? I mean, what do most people do on Valentine's Day is they go for a meal. And, you know, and I didn't get that. I was going to be like, oh, do you want to go on a special date and get food? Like, oh, I have food every day, really. But, you know, this is special, you know, we're going to sit opposite each other and eat in front of each other. We're going to examine each other as we eat. Because there's nothing more romantic than spilling sauce down your face in front of the person that you're probably going to sleep with later. But you know, like I said, I was in a relationship, and my family had mixed feelings about him. My grandma especially, she never actually met him because she lives quite far away. But I went to see her last year, and she spoke to her. She said, "Oh, you're still going out with that boy?" Yeah. My mum's told me all about him. Oh, that's nice. I hear he's a foreigner. Where you going with this, Grandma? But so I tried to diffuse the tension a bit by making a joke, which unfortunately is not a joke in the eyes of a pensioner. I said, "Yeah, no, he is a foreigner, Grandma, but don't worry, he's still white." Oh, well, that's good. Are you sure you don't want to find yourself a nice English boy? Grandma, you're fucking Welsh. What are you talking about? I just thank God I'm not like a lesbian with a black girlfriend. Like, God. I was a lesbian once. It's a great way to start any story. No, I was rumoured to be a lesbian when I went to a different uni before this, because I was in the LGBT society. And the only reason I joined was because I had a gay friend who didn't want to join on his own, so I went with him. And you know, so when I joined, obviously that came with the assumption that I was a lesbian, and that was fine. You know, I was fine with that. I didn't mind that. I didn't feel the need to come out as straight to these people. I was perfectly happy to just go to all the socials and make all these friends and have them think whatever they want. Of course, that does tend to come with some consequences of other girls assuming that, you know, you're game. So on one of the socials, it was just a casual drinking social in a common room. I was sat on the sofa, I was quite drunk. This girl was beside me, she had her arm around my shoulders, but I wasn't really paying attention. My friend had long gone, but I was just sort of sat on the sofa, sort of quite drunk, thinking, oh, this is nice. This is a very friendly atmosphere, all these friendly people. Where's this girl's hand going? So I stood up and I said, oh, I'm just going to go to the bathroom. And she said, oh, I'll come with you. Because girls go to the bathroom together. I forgot about that. So I went into the bathroom and she followed me in. And there's no nice way of putting it, she had me against the wall. And you know, but for some reason I still couldn't tell her that I wasn't gay. Something was stopping me, I just didn't want to say it. So, and she was sort of in front of me and I kind of sort of backing away. And my mind was telling me straight, tell you straight. I was like, no, can't do that, it's inappropriate. Well, you need to tell us something. I was like, well, I don't know, tell you like dick, what? I can't use the D word in front of a lesbian. So I needed to think of a way, something I could say to stop her, but that would still keep the facade that I was a lesbian I so desperately wanted to cling on to for some reason. So I sort of put my hands on her and I said, wait, hang on, wait. I have a girlfriend. And a child. What? It's a long story, there was this whole thing with this baby and a bear, and I know I timeshare this baby with all these different people in a bear costume. I don't like dick, I swear. Thank you, Lancaster University. Okay, I won't touch that. Are we good, Lancaster? I mean, I do all washing up, okay? It's not as much to read up. Okay, give us a cheers. Anyone here miss high school? Thank God, right? I got a cheer the other day, I was really confused. No one really misses high school, I find that's because there's a lot of bullying that goes on in high school. I think a lot of people remember. I didn't really have a problem with bullying in high school, but not because I went to a nice school, it was just because high school I went through my emo phase and no one would really go near me, let alone try and bully me. But no, the last time I was in my high school, The last time I was in my high school was for a leavers assembly at the end of year 11 after we collected our GCSE results. We all had to go back to have one final goodbye. And we went in and we noticed that we'd all been sat in very specific seats that had our names on. And so I went and sat down, and usually they just put us in alphabetical order, but I was in the middle of the room, and this was weird because my last name begins with a W, and so I'm always at the back. So I thought, oh, that's weird, why did they put me here? And then the girl next to me, her name began with a B. So I was said, this is weird, why are they seated us in this weird order? And we realised what happened was they had put us in alphabetical order, they just separated us into 2 groups. And I was in the first group. We were like, oh, what's going on? Why have they done this? And we found out when the assembly started, we realised what happened was that the first group that I was in, they were closer to the stage, which meant that we could get onto the stage easier to collect an award. Which was both exciting and really concerning because I hadn't done anything. I was sat there the whole time and I was last, and so I had to wait for ages, and I was like, I haven't done anything. And people were going up on stage to collect awards for outstanding GCSE results, charity work, for being prefects, and I had done nothing for that school in my 5 years. In my 5 years at school, I went in every day, sat down, did my work, dyed my hair black, painted my nails black, blacked up, not that one. And then left, and then did my GCSEs, did alright, and then fucked off, and I'd done nothing to get an award. But then, you know, it got to me eventually, finally, went up on stage, alright, go on then, what award have you invented for me? Went up to my headmistress, she handed me a certificate and said, and the last award is for Hannah Wesson for achieving 99.9% attendance over 5 years. Sorry, did you just say that in front of everyone? Did you just tell the whole year group that I've never missed a day of school? What is wrong with you people? How could you do this to me? Why didn't you just give me a piece of paper that said Hannah Weston's a fucking nerd on it? What made it worse is that before me, a girl went up on stage to get an award for 100% attendance over 5 years, so I didn't even get the best one! And do you want to know why it was 99 and not 100? I missed 1 day of school in year 10 to go to a funeral. That was it. And if Grandad had lived a couple more years, it would have been 100. But no, that award actually wasn't for me, that was for my mum. She was the one who made sure I never missed a day of school. Because she's a doctor, and therefore I was never ill over those 5 years. And by that I mean I was told there's no such thing as too ill to go to school. So I went in every day. And it's quite weird when your mum's a doctor, because I'm from quite a small town, so everyone kind of knows her. And she's also the only doctor who works at our local sexual health clinic, which is great because I don't know if you know, there are certain procedures that only doctors are allowed to perform and that nurses are not. So what I'm trying to say is that if there's a woman in my hometown who's had that procedure done, it was done by my mum basically. There's a 100% chance that she's the one who did it. And well, that made for pretty interesting parents' evenings. I will say that. There's nothing better than going in, sitting down and looking at the look of horror on my female teacher's face when they realised that the woman opposite them, the last time they saw her, she, well, had a hand in her. Pretty much. Probably my favourite thing we did at school was we did a production of Chicago my last year. That I was part of, and you know, Chicago's a very sexy musical, so they sort of restricted it and said only year 10s and 11s can audition. So that was about 200 girls who could audition. And you may think, well, 200, that's quite a lot, you can probably find a good cast in there. Well, no, to be honest, is the answer to that, because the problem with musicals is that you need to be able to sing, dance, and act. And the problem with teenagers is that very few of them can do all those things, including me, but I was cast anyway. And I was one of the murderesses in Chicago. There's a number, it's called Cell Block Tango, where you have to dance, sing, and do a monologue, and there's 7 girls, and I was one of them. And yeah, I was, you know, and I was all right. My monologue, well, I'm not even going to be I'm not even going to be modest, is what I was going to say, because I fucking nailed that monologue. not even going to lie, it was on point. And my singing's all right. You know, I could harmonise with the girls, that was fine. And my dancing was aggressively average. I was definitely the worst dancer out of the 7 girls that were picked. And this led to a rather interesting dilemma that my drama teacher had, where she wanted to tell me to be more sexy when I dance. But legally, a teacher cannot tell a 6-year-old girl to be more sexy when she dances. So at the end of every rehearsal, she would come up to me and I'd have to watch her have a mental breakdown as she tried to find more and more creative ways to tell me to be sexy without using the word sexy. So she'd come up to me and she'd say, yeah, you know, it's alright, it's going well. You know when you dance, during the dance bits, you're not being, what's the word? You need to be more sensual. Oh, sensual, you mean sexy? No, No, I didn't. No, I definitely didn't use that word. No. Hips. You need to move your hips more when you dance. You know, you need to dance from the hips. So okay, so hips. You mean like when people have sex? No, you're gonna get me in trouble now. But the performance actually, I must have been all right because they kept me in the performance, and it went pretty well. Except there was a problem on the first night where we hadn't yet practiced with all the props yet. And because we were, in jail, we had these cell bars at the back of the stage, which we were supposed to stand behind, we were supposed to lean on, like, sexily, sensually. And we hadn't practiced with them yet. And during the first night's performance, I was leaning, I was waiting for my monologue, and I thought, and I don't know why I did, but I just thought, you know what? I'm not going to go round the bars like they told us to do in rehearsal. I'm gonna slip through the bars and then go down stage. Yeah, I got stuck. My head went through, my shoulders, my arms, and then my hips just got caught just as the music changed and was for me to start. And the thing was, I wasn't actually that stuck. I could have very easily just sort of twisted and pulled out. But the problem was, because it was my monologue, there was a spotlight on me and everyone could see me. And I had to make a decision. I didn't want the audience to know what I'd done. So the decision I made to draw less attention to myself was to just stay where I was, stuck between these bars, and do the monologue from there. So I was sort of half in, half out, like this. But I made it work. I was like, I met Ezekiel Young in Salt Lake City about 3 years ago. And I did the whole thing from inside these bars. And the audience didn't seem to notice. They did notice later on, however, towards the end of the number, when all 7 of us were supposed to go down to the front of the stage and sing the chorus in front of the audience. And they had to leave me behind. And I had to sing from where I was on stage between some bars. And at this point the audience obviously noticed and started laughing, and the number ended, the curtains closed, and all the rest of the cast started laughing, and all the tech people were laughing. My drama teacher was not laughing. She stormed on, she said, "Hannah, what was that? Why did you do that? Why didn't you go round? Why did you try to go through? We didn't rehearse this. You've ruined this number. You've ruined the whole show." And well, at that point, all I could really say was, well, miss, to be honest, my mum's seen your vagina. Which one of us should really be embarrassed? Thank you, Comedy Club. I've been Thank you. Oh, I do know how to use the mic, that's good. Right, we alright? We good? I'm just going to come over here to you, Dern. Tell me, Dern, at this moment, do you feel like you are an adult?
Yeah.
Liar! You are lying to me, Dern. That is a lie. No one here is an adult. Okay, no offense. We're not, okay? Because I'm talking about real adults. Real adults who buy cars, pay mortgages, talk about expensive cheese. Those kind of adults. And none of us qualify, okay, as real adults, okay? But let me tell you something else, Dern. Okay? Adulthood, okay, that's a lie. Okay, it's not a real thing. This feeling we're all in right now, this kind of, I'm kind of an adult because I'm at uni, but I'm not really because my mum's on speed dial. This is it. This is it forever. Okay, because adults lie to us. Doesn't matter what you're 40, you're still going to feel like this. Okay, you know why? It's because adults are petty. They are. You never ever outgrow pettiness. Okay, you just get more subtle at it. A few months ago I went to the dentist, and my dentist told me I needed a filling, and he said, I might not have time to do that now, you might have to come back in a week. And I said, oh no, don't worry about it, I've got a dentist at my uni, I can just go there next week instead, it's fine. He said, well, you could do that, but to be honest, I'd rather do it just so that I know it's being done properly. I know, unnecessary aggression from my dentist towards another dentist who he's never met. Mate, calm down. I'm sure my university dentist is just as competent and skilled as you. I'm not going to say that because you're about to come at my gums with a needle, but it's true. And teaching's a very petty profession. I had a physics teacher in high school who was doing some revision sessions with us for GCSE, and he asked us, how are your sciences going? And he was really horrified to find out that we were really, really far behind on our chemistry, because our chemistry teacher was useless. And we told him this, and he said, right, that's not okay. Right, that's really not on. You should have learned all this by now, and you've only learned this. Right, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put on some chemistry revision sessions, okay, alongside the physics, and I'll do that for you, and that'll all be good. But here's the thing, you have to promise me you won't tell your chemistry teacher about these revision sessions I'm going to do, okay? Because it might hurt her feelings. What kind of playground bullshit is that? It might hurt her feelings. You are an adult. You are a professional. You need to go to her and you need to say, hey, look, you know, these kids should have learned this and they haven't, and you know, you need to sort it. But no, your solution is to put on some super secret chemistry revision sessions that we're not allowed to tell anyone about. I mean, admittedly, it was kind of cool and we were actually all really into it, but that wasn't the way to deal with it. And we had these secret sessions. You know, we do our physics, and he'd say, right, okay, we're going to get the chemistry books out now, and he'd make us prop our physics books up on the table to conceal the chemistry books. Just in case, and so if anyone came in, they wouldn't know, just in case she was like stalking the corridors, getting ready to burst in like, you kids learning chemistry here. Better not. And it's just ridiculous, because it all could have been solved if he was just honest with her. But nobody's honest with anyone, are they? Because for some reason, the most important thing in this world is that we don't hurt each other's feelings. Is we all just have to be super nice to everyone. It doesn't matter if somebody's bad at something. If somebody's just useless at something, you can't tell them. You can't say, hey, you're kind of bad at that thing, maybe you shouldn't be doing it. No, you just have to be nice, and you have to say, yeah, you're great, and then you just have to awkwardly work around their shitness and try and get things done. I mean, for God's sake, it's so simple. If everyone was just truthful with each other, none of this would happen. That teacher, she probably still works there. She's a bad teacher, and she still works there because nobody will tell her that she's a bad teacher. You know, and there's probably like a secret organisation that's been set up at my school to teach chemistry to kids behind her back, and all the other science teachers know about it. And then all these kids graduate, and like, did you do the secret chemistry sessions? Yeah, I did. Yeah, they were really cool, weren't they? And then in 30 years, she's going to retire, and she'll never know that she was a bad teacher, and she's going to sit there in her retirement home with all her money, just like, oh, wasn't I such a good teacher? I inspired loads of students. No, you were a shit teacher, and no one ever had the balls to tell you that! I still got an A though. No, chemistry was actually one of my probably my favourite science. I really preferred it to physics. I found physics really boring. I think most people thought physics was the most boring science. So you're looking at me, disdain over there. Jake Black. Yeah. Do you do physics?
Yeah, but I don't enjoy it.
Oh, you don't enjoy it? You're right not to, because it was boring. I'll tell you why it was boring, because the experiments weren't as fun. So in chemistry, you got to play with acids. In biology, you get to cut up dead things, and in physics, you get to drop some pens. That's not a joke. That was an experiment we did in a lesson once, and we came in. It was a lesson on gravity. An hour lesson on gravity, just to, we came in and he said, yeah, we're going to learn about, that thing you learned about in primary school, that force that you already know about. We're going to spend an hour on that, and 15 minutes of that hour, we're going to spend doing this. Yeah, that's gravity. There it was, it works. And then, you have to write down your pick up your pen first, and then write down your observations, like gravity. It worked. And that was an hour. And I just didn't understand why, because it wasn't like anyone was going to leave that lesson. Like, it's the weirdest thing. Before that lesson, whenever I dropped a pen, it would just kind of hang there. It was, and it's just like, did they think we didn't know about gravity? I mean, it's not like, it's not like throughout our entire lives it was just like, oh, what are we doing tonight, Mum? Well, we were going to go to the cinema, but then your brother just kind of floated to the moon, so we're not doing that anymore. And to be honest, that pen dropping experiment probably wouldn't have gone on for as long as it did if it wasn't for the fact that our physics teacher was quite fit. Yeah, you're all thinking the wrong things and you should be. I've been doing some more adult things recently. Like, yes, those adult things, but that's not the adult things I'm referring to. No, I had to go get my car serviced. Sounds that's a grown-up thing. Come on. I mean, my parents were still involved. My mum texted me to tell me, hey, you need to go get your car serviced, and then I had to call her to ask her what that meant, and ask her how I go about that. She said, you need to call and book an appointment. I said, okay. So I called a place in Lancaster. Hi. Do you service car service? My car is in need of service. Is that a service you do? Yes. Okay. Good. And then I took my car down, gave him the keys, walked home. And a few hours later I walked back, paid, got my keys, got a piece of paper that said car fine. And then I drove home. And I felt very cheated. I felt suddenly really, really cheated because I thought that was a really grown-up thing that I just did, and I don't feel like I did anything. I mean, when I was a kid and I heard my parents say like, "Oh, I've got to go get the car bloody MOT next week," that terrified me. I thought, "Oh my God, in the future I'm going to have to get a car service. What does that mean? What do I do?" And then I just did it, and I didn't feel like I'd done anything. You know my biggest fear? You know what I was really horrified about when I was a kid? When I was 8 years old, I had a babysitter who was engaged, and she was telling me all about her wedding plans and her fiancé. And I said to her, how long does a wedding last? And she said, "Which bit?" I said, "You know the bit where you have to stand with your fiancé, you have to do the I do's and all that, and the priest and all that." I said, "Well, how long does that take?" And she said, "Oh, probably like an hour." I cried. I literally started crying because I thought, I don't want to have to stand on my feet for a whole hour. I don't think I could make that commitment. And then I got more upset because I thought, I'm going to be single forever because I don't think I could ever love a man enough to stand on my feet for an hour for him. This is terrible. Who's going to service my car now? Thank you, Lancaster. I've been Hannah Wesson. Good night.
For Hannah Wesson.
Just coming up from the audience like that. That's so cool. All right, we all good? Lancaster, how are we doing? We good? Yes. Yeah, so I'm here today to talk to you all about how to hold a microphone properly and not get tangled up in it. No, I'm here today to talk to you all about periods. Yeah, because we all love that. I'm not actually. I'm actually here to talk to you about the time before periods. You know, when girls are too young to be, before they start having their periods, because it's actually quite a horrifying concept when you think about a young girl who doesn't actually know what a period is yet, and when you finally figure it out, it's kind of like, oh, so hey, here's the thing. You're going to start to bleed from your genitals, and it's going to happen every single month until you're about 50. But here's the best bit. There's nothing you can do about it. That's the best bit. It's coming. It's happening. You can't stop it. Okay, good luck. So me and my friends, before we knew what these were, when we were about 10 years old in primary school, we were having the puberty and sex talk, and they were going to talk to us about this. And what they did was they came in, they said, okay, the boys are going to have to leave the room because they're not allowed to hear it. This is just for you, which makes sense. But then it also has the added problem that it made it seem like they were going to tell us something really cool and really special. They were like, yeah, girls, the boys, they have to leave the room for this. They have to go and play games in a room while you get to sit here and learn the secret. Okay, it's a secret that the boys aren't allowed to know. So we all were really excited because I had no idea what they were going to tell us. I was like, oh my God, girls get to learn how to like time travel or something, and the boys don't get to know. And then so it was like 15 girls sat in a classroom. We were all really giddy to find out the secret. And then the school nurse comes in and she just tells us what a period is. And about 6 girls cried, and 2 had to be sent home. And I didn't cry, but I do remember walking in the playground later that day really solemnly, and one of my male friends ran up to me and he said, oh my God, so what was that secret you guys got to learn about? I was like, I don't want to talk about it. But I remember feeling really betrayed because I asked the nurse, I said, so this happens to all girls? And she said, yeah, pretty much all girls have periods. So I went home that night and confronted my mother. Like, how long have you known, Mother? You've known all along, haven't you? When were you going to tell me? What else have you been keeping from me? Next you're going to tell me that the boys are going to grow taller and stronger than me, and then I won't be able to push them over and throw their shit over the fence. I had a problem with the boys when I still do, to be honest. So I don't have a younger sister, so I never thought I'd have to be the person who ever has to explain to a young girl about things like that or sex, which I was really grateful for. But then over the summer, my auntie called me and she told me that she wanted me to have that talk with my cousin who had just turned 12. And because for some reason she just wanted to make sure that if Jessica had any questions, she would have someone to ask. And for some reason she thought that I would be the pearls of wisdom to provide this. And words cannot describe how much I did not want to do this. Okay, my cousin, in my eyes, is like still a child, and I did not want to envision a scenario where I had to use the word penis or vagina in front of her. But I agreed to do it. We went over, we had a family gathering, but I knew why I was there, And after the dinner, my auntie gave me this sort of sly look, and I was like, yeah. So I got up, and I asked my cousin to come and show me her collection of Sylvanian families, which are these little animal dolls that wear clothes. They're really cute, and she used to get a set for her birthday every year, back when she liked innocent, cute things. But anyway, we went upstairs, and we went to her room, and she was ready for this talk. Okay, she knew why I was there. She sat on her bed, and she looked at me right in the eye, and she said, "So have you had sex?" And I was a bit taken aback, but I'll be honest. I said, "Oh, yeah." And she went, "All right, how many guys?" And this girl is my family, but I felt that was a bit personal. But I said, "Oh, okay, I'll be honest." I said, "Oh, two." And then she looked at me like this. And I got really defensive, and I was like, well, the first guy I slept with was like my boyfriend, and we were together for 3 years, which is like, it's a long time, so I didn't have a lot of time to be going out, and I was basically defending my lack of promiscuity to a 12-year-old at this point. But basically what I wanted to achieve with this talk was I kind of wanted to discourage her from having sex before she was ready, because, kids these days are having sex younger and younger, and it's terrifying. But the problem is that I'm also quite liberal with my approach to sex, so my advice kind of got a bit muddled. So I was a bit like, right, okay, so you should only have sex when you're ready to have sex. But it is also a lot of fun. But you need to make sure it's with the right person. But you don't need to be in love with them, because, people say that, but that's kind of bullshit. And as long as you're being safe, you can have sex with as many people as you want. But you shouldn't, Jessica. And if a boy goes near you with his thing, I'm going to chop it off, okay? But, do what you want, because, like I say, it's your life. But then she asked me a question that kind of made me want to jump off a bridge. She looked at me and she said, "Okay, so what does sex actually feel like?" And, well, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of lost it at this point, right? Because this is my baby cousin we're talking about, okay? She's like the youngest in my family. Like, I remember my auntie being pregnant with her. I remember going around to their house when she was born. This is a child that I held in my arms when she was a newborn baby, and now she was sat in front of me asking what it feels like to have a dick inside you. And I said, "It's all right. They're kind of ugly looking, but you'll probably know that eventually once you start getting dick pics. Although given that she's 12 and she has a smartphone, she probably has already." So that was my least favorite of the talk that I've ever had. We had another one in high school, so they brought it back. High school, they focused more on kind of, so primary school was kind of like, here's what sex is, here's, what it does, blah, blah, blah. And then high school was more like, here's why you shouldn't be doing it, okay, because it's bad, okay? So I'm talking about STIs and how they went about that. So my school did that kind of conventional thing of like, here's a picture of a vagina and a penis with like blisters and sores, and it's all oozing, it's disgusting, and that's gonna happen if you have sex, okay? But then my school decided to go one step further and do a physical demonstration for us. So we all got taken to a chemistry lab, and we were all sat, and we all got given a plastic cup, right? And each one had like a colorless chemical in each one, and then we all got given a character card that had a name and a description of a character that we were going to play at a fake house party that we were all going to have. Yay, fun. So, I read my card, and mine had, my character was a lesbian who was basically in love with a girl who was also going to be at the party. And so basically my objective for this game was to find this girl and bang her. That was my objective. Our teacher told us, she said, okay, at the party, if you want to have protected sex with someone, you clink your glasses together, like that. And if you want to have unprotected sex with them, you have to pour some of your cup into theirs, and they have to pour theirs into yours. So you're like sharing fluids in a beautiful metaphor for sex. So, and everyone's card presumably had written on it whether or not you were like a big whore or just a little whore. So we started this party, and it was basically just a class of girls sort of milling about a chemistry lab, all holding plastic cups, kind of like, Just going up to people being like, oh, what's your, do you want it? Yeah, okay, clink, yeah, yeah. And basically just being real, while our teacher was in the back playing house music on a laptop. It was odd. So I sort of went around and was asking people about who they were, and I eventually found the girl who had the character on her card that corresponded with mine. So I was like, oh, so we're kind of like, kind of like each other. And you're like, yeah, okay, cool. Okay, that's done. Right, bye, all right then. And then I sort of just went to the back of the party and kind of waited for it all to be over after my objective was done. But then I did see later on that girl going about in the party sharing her liquid with someone else. And I just remember being like, my lesbian persona deserves so much better than that. But just before the party ended, someone else came up to me and they said, are you a girl? I assume they meant my character. So I said, oh yeah, and she went, okay. And then without warning, she just poured some of her liquid into my cup. And I was like, whoa, what are you doing? And she said, oh, my character's like a big man slag and he sleeps with loads of girls without protection. I was like, okay, fine. But my character happens to be a lesbian and therefore would never have slept with your character. And she was like, oh, sorry. And I was like, no, sorry is not good enough. You've just come over here and raped me. You've literally raped me. I mean, I have just been had a simulation of rape at a simulated house party. What is this bullshit? It's not supposed to be that reminiscent of real life. You rapist. So we all went and sat down. And our teacher came round with a pipette of universal indicator, science terms. That guy knows. And she dripped a bit into each of our cups, and all of them, apart from about 4, the liquid turned bright blue. And then she went to the front of the class and she said, all of you who have got a blue liquid in your cup, you have all caught an STI. Because apparently, at the start of the experiment, only one of us had a chemical in their cup which would react with the indicator and turn blue, and it had managed to spread to nearly all of us. So that's what happens in real life. That's what they were showing us. They're saying, if you go to a house party and one person has an STI, literally all of you are going to leave with it. That is what the message they were sending to us. And our teacher was stood at the front of the class. She was shaking her head at us as if we had all actually just caught chlamydia off each other. And I was sat there, and my cup was also blue, and I just kind of raised my hand and was like, miss, I would just like to maintain that if I hadn't been raped, I would still have a colourless liquid. And my genitals would still be chlamydia-free. I'm in Hannah Weston, thank you very much.
First time I've done that without tripping on any lines, so that's good. How are we all doing? We good? All good? Are we all feeling the dissertation deadlines looming? 3rd years? No? Woo! Yes, you sir. Good. Are you gripping it, sir? Is it not just me?
No.
Good. That is good. I feel a lot better now. So I'm a little distressed.
It's not fair.
Oh, are you lying to me, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate you were trying to make me feel.
I just want to be involved.
I mean, there will be a chance for you to be involved. I'll come back to you if you like. And later on in the show. What's your name?
Ollie.
Sam, is that his name?
No. Dan.
Okay. I'll make sure to ask you some questions, Dan, so you can feel involved. Okay. So we've got a special day coming up, haven't we? Soon. In just under a week. We all know what day, don't we? Come on. It's Valentine's Day! Yay! Woo! Are we hyped?
No.
No? No? I mean, some of you did kind of visibly wince then when I said it. I actually don't mind Valentine's Day too much. I think it's okay. That's probably because for the last 4, I was in a relationship. But I'm not this year. First time. Gentlemen. All ladies. I don't really care at this point, not gonna lie. Give us a cheer who's got happy couple plans. Woo! One guy at the back said, everyone hates you now. Who's got sad, lonely people plans? Woo! Hey. Woo! Yay, more cheers. I'll come back to you, Dan. You didn't make a noise. Do you have sad, lonely people plans?
Mine's with moderate plans.
Moderate plans? What are your moderate plans?
Gonna watch Shrek.
Oh my god, that's literally my plan. I'll actually see you. We've got a Valentine's date now, though. It's happening. I'm not nice. I did not come to the show expecting to leave with a date, but it's happened. Anyone who else cheered? Kyle over here. I do know you, but you were the only person who cheered for Happy Valentine's Day plans. Go on, make us all hate you more, Kyle. What are your Valentine's Day plans?
Going to Blackpool for the night.
Wait, like as in you stayed over?
Yeah.
Hotel?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Fancy hotel?
Pretty nice.
Romantic meal? Seen a show?
No, I'm not going to see anything.
Oh, alright then. You can go all the way then. Go all on. I don't think he cares that much. I'm assuming you're as good. I feel like we've met once. Yeah. If he's not going to chill out for a show, I mean, yeah, so would I. But it's alright, I got down, so it's fine. So who's the real winner here? Kyle? I get to see Shrek. That was actually genuinely going to be my plans was to see Shrek, because what better film to see on Valentine's Day than a film about an ugly, disgusting creature finding true love when you are still single? It's going to be great. But we won't linger too long on Valentine's Day, because I know it's a bit of a soft spot for some people. But you know, Valentine's Day is all about love. And what does love lead to eventually? Sometimes marriage, but not necessarily anymore. Am I right, fellow millennials?
Yeah.
We can't afford a wedding. That's just a sad fact. We're all in a lot of debt. Anyway, I've only ever been to one wedding my whole life. It was the wedding of my second cousin. I mean, what the fuck's a second cousin? Okay, did he lose a competition? Is he not good enough to be my first? Who is this guy? Okay, no, don't answer that, because I know who this guy is. Okay, he's my mum's cousin. Okay, that's how I'm related to him. But why was I going to his wedding? Okay, it's on the way. I was like, Mum, we've never met this guy. You've never mentioned him. Like, how well do you know this guy? And she went, oh well, you know, we were close as kids, but we haven't actually seen each other for 20 years. 20 years? Are you, Mum? This was a courtesy invite. Did you not? He doesn't want you to come to his wedding. He sat down. He thought, okay, I need to decide who to invite. Oh, I should probably invite all my family. Oh, I've got my cousin. I've not seen her for 20 years. A bit awkward if I don't invite her. Oh, I'll just throw an invite her way. It's not like she's going to show up. Not only did she show up, she brought a +1, you know, my dad, and then her 3 fucking kids, none of whom have ever met this man. He does not know we exist. I mean, talk about imposition. He must be the most sort of calm man who has just ever existed. Okay? If you could invite your cousin you've not seen for 20 years and she brings 4 extra guests, if someone shows up to my wedding and wants a vegetarian meal, I'll probably kick off. Well, enough about fake cousins. I'm going to talk about my real cousin, first cousins, the ones who won. I've got one, she's 12. It only occurred to me a few weeks ago when we were at a family event that I've never actually had a conversation with her until then. Because we've grown up together. But now that she's 12, she's basically, you know, a person now. Because before that, she was a child. And I don't speak to kids. Not for a creepy reason. Not because I don't like kids, although that is also true. I actually can't speak to kids. And I don't mean that in a kind of like, oh, I just don't know what to say to them. I mean, I literally physically can't. Like, I have like a mental block. If I try and, you know, so like, you know when you're supposed to humour kids? So when a kid comes up to you with like a scribble, and they're like, oh, I did the drawing. And you're supposed to go, oh, did you? Oh, that's amazing. That's such a good drawing. Well done, you. I mean, that was a pretty bad impression of him. But the point is, I can do it right now in this room because there are no kids in here. But if there was a kid in here, and a kid came up to me and said I did a drawing, I'd open my mouth to say that, and vomit would probably just come out instead. Because I physically can't be nice to kids. It's a problem. A few years ago, I was in a pantomime. I was playing Cinderella. Yeah. And there was a bunch of kids in the show, and they were playing like the mice. And during the interval and things, to keep them like distracted, they got given paper to do drawings, and they got told to draw stuff in the show. And a few of them had drawn me, or they'd drawn Cinderella, and they like 3 of them came up to me after the show to give me their drawings of me. And I tried really hard to be nice and say nice things about the drawings, but all I could really say was, why the fuck have you drawn me blonde? Also, none of you can act. Just saying. But yeah, no, I don't like kids. I feel like I already feel like I'd hate my kids, even though they're not real yet. But it occurs to me, we film all these shows with the camera over there for our YouTube channel, and I feel like if this footage follows me into my adult life, which it might one day end up being seen by the kids that I'm probably gonna inevitably end up having after I hit 30 and start panicking that I've not done anything with my life. And so basically these kids, my kids are gonna basically watch these videos of a young me chatting shit about them before they even exist. You hear that? Wednesday and Satchel. I hate you. Yeah, that's what we call my kids. Wednesday if it's a girl, Satchel if it's a guy. Why Satchel? I know that's the type of bag. Don't care. They're gonna hate me anyway. Might as well give them a reason. Who else has already named their kids? And don't lie, I know you have. Everyone has, deep down. Dan, come on. What would you want to call our kids? I mean, we're having Wednesday and Satchel, but if we had more than two?
How do we got Wednesday and Satchel?
I mean, that is the question. What would you like to name your kid? I'll consider it. But
Shrek.
oh, that'd be really nice. Because that'd be like after our first date. Oh, that can be our first kid. Okay, we'll call it Shrek, Wednesday, Satchel. Good, sorted. Hello, sir. What's your name?
Jim.
Hey, Jim. Do you have kids' names planned? You look like a guy who does. Well, I mean, that's not quite the same thing.
You can give dogs better names because you won't get like made fun of.
I mean, that's really having kids. That's the whole point, Jim. Because you get to give them names.
But you'll be judged by your family.
I don't care, Jim. I'm gonna call my son Satchel. No one can tell me otherwise. It's happening. All right. What would you call your dog?
Ziggy.
What? Why couldn't you call a human person Ziggy, Jim?
My granddad did it.
Why? Why does your granddad get a say?
I don't mind having
He might get offended.
He might be dead by then.
Yeah, but he might not. And that might be the final straw in a life.
Saying if your granddad found out you had a child called Ziggy, he might die. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just. I've never found out. I don't want to.
I think you should, Jim. I think it's worth the risk. Maybe you should name your dog Ziggy to test the water a bit. And if your granddad likes your dog, Jim, and you say, well, granddad,
Ziggy too.
Ziggy too. Great. That's a good idea. Hello, madam. What's your name? Sarah? What, do you have kids' names? You don't? You're all lying to me. I'm not the only person who has got their kids' names ready since they were like 15, despite always insisting she's never having kids. I'm not the weird one. You are. You, sir, friend of my future husband. What's your name?
Ollie.
Ollie. Oh, you're Ollie?
Yeah.
Oh, you're trying to trick me, Dad. You're trying to make me get with Ollie instead. Is that what you were doing?
Yes.
What would you call your future kids, Ollie?
I haven't got any plans. Do you want me to make one up for you?
Yes,
Just so you
I
can-
do.
Beanbag.
Beanbag? That's adorable. Can Beanbag and Satchel be friends?
Sure.
Yay. We'll stay in touch after the show. But don't forget, guys, to make sure that you come up with some kids' names first, and then make sure you bring them up on your Valentine's Day dates. Okay, it's very important that you make sure you're on the same page with those things, okay? Because if my future guy can't accept that our son is going to be called Satchel, then it's just not going to work. Right, so the way this show is going to work tonight is we're going to have one act on for you now, like a 10-minute break, go get a drink, and come back and do some improv. But our first act for you tonight is actually a very special guest for you guys. He's come all the way especially to do this gig. His name is Chip Daniels. He's a country western singer from Tennessee. He's come all the way from the States to perform for you guys tonight. You might not have heard of him, but I've heard that he's actually a pretty big deal out there in the States. So, you know, we're all very lucky. But just get you warmed up a bit to make him feel welcome. I'm going to count to 3, and then after 3, I want you all shout out your favourite US state, okay? Pick one quickly. Mine's California, but no one can say that's mine. If you can't think of one, just yell Tennessee, that's where he's from, he'll feel very welcome. So yeah, we all ready? We all got it? Okay. 1, 2, 3!
California.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to this. I heard that. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Hello. How you doing? We good? Yeah. Good? Having a good time? Yeah. So I'm going to be talking to you about relationships today. I've noticed a trend recently of relationships when people come out of a long-term relationship. I've noticed the thing is that they go through a bit of a phase where they start to lament all of the sleeping around that they never got to do while they were in that relationship. So my friend recently got out of a 4-year relationship, and she was with this guy for a whole undergrad and her master's, and now every time I see her, she's just kind of staring into space, and I'm like, "You alright?" She says, "Oh yeah, I'm just thinking about all the dick I let pass me by." So much dick. So much dick, right? Like when you're a student, I mean, that stuff's just everywhere. Like there's no like shortage of supply of that stuff, you know. It's like in a restaurant where you get the 3 refills, you know. So you pay for your cup, you know, that's your tuition fee, and then you just keep going back to the machine, you know, like as many times as you want. You've paid for that, you know. If you don't like the flavour, tip it away, get a new one. Have as many as you want. Disgusting. So this friend of mine, she tried out Tinder. She's never done it before. She's new to the whole kind of meet and shag thing. And she's on a train and she's on her way to meet this guy, and she's texting me and she's letting me know where they're going and what she's wearing in case I need to tell the police these things later, you know. Girl stuff. And she says to me, she says, "Hannah, will I get murdered?" And I said, no, of course you won't. Don't be stupid. I mean, I'm not going to say it's impossible. I'm not going to say it hasn't happened. I'm not going to say I've not read news stories about people who've been killed by people they met on Tinder, and it could happen to anyone, including you. But you'll be fine. You'll be fine, honestly. And so she goes, and she sends me a picture of the guy, and I look at it, and my first response is, "Oh wow, this white guy has absolutely no business being in dreadlocks." Not even because I care about cultural appropriation. I just care about hairstyles that look good on people. And if you're white and you've got dreadlocks, then you look like a piece of shit. That's just a fact. So she goes on this date, and about 20 minutes after this picture, she sends me another picture, and she's in the inside of this guy's house. So I message her immediately, and I'm like, "What are you doing in this guy's house?" And she said, "Oh, well, this is where we came." And I was like, "Okay, first of all, let me stop you there. Well, first of all, I hope you came, at the very least." I said, "I thought you were just meeting up with him." She said, "Yeah, we did. We met me at the station, and then we went to his." And I said, well what, you know how earlier you were asking me, could you get murdered? This is how you get murdered." She said, "No, it's fine, it's fine." I said, "It's not fine. You're supposed to suss the guy out first before you go to his house." She said, "I did. We had a chat." I said, "What? In the 5 minutes it took you to get from the station to his house?" It was 15 minutes, actually. I said, "Look, that was a very irresponsible thing to do." And she said, "Well, it's not my fault. I'm inexperienced with Tinder." I said, "Babe, that's not inexperience with Tinder. That is inexperience with common sense and life skills right there." And then apparently the guy wasn't even a good shag, so it wasn't even worth potentially getting murdered over. But she decides, not for her. She messages him and says, "Hey, can we just be friends?" He says, "Yeah, cool." A couple of weeks later, she's moaning at me. She says, "He's ignoring my messages." I said, "Well, why are you still messaging him?" She said, "Well, because I said, you know, do you want to be friends?" And he said, "Yeah, so I thought we were going to be mates." I was like, no, baby girl, no. Why would you think that? He doesn't want to be your friend. And she just couldn't comprehend this idea. This guy didn't want to be her friend because she's only been in 2 relationships, both of them like 4 years long, with 2 decent guys, and now she's single and having to navigate her way through this chasm of fuckboys. And she doesn't know how to deal with it. But my other friend,
she's got the opposite problem. She can't stop dealing with fuckboys. She loves fucking with the fuckboys. I can't deal with her. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to cope with it. Every time she says, oh, I've met someone new, I'm like, oh, really? Let me just make a date in my diary 2 months from now to have the intervention, because I know what's going to happen. Like, I could get a lineup, okay? I get a lineup of loads of guys, all very similar looking, put them all in identical outfits, say to her, alright, pick one of these to date, and she'll still manage to pick the one with half a GCSE, 4 kids to 4 different women who doesn't know the name of, and his Facebook profile says he works at On The Pull. But what I think she needs, what I think my other friend needs as well, what I think all of us need, is just a nice, healthy balance of the two, you know? You've got your monogamous relationships, and then you've got your fuckboyery, and you need a bit of both in your life, you know? You need a nice stable relationship for a while, and then when you break up, you go get yourself some Tinder shags until you meet your next relationship, and then it's just a nice balance of the two. But whatever you're doing, whatever path you decide to take, just make sure you suss the person out before you go to their house, okay? Because you really can be murdered by someone you meet on Tinder. But you're also a lot more likely to be murdered by someone who loves you as well. Thank you.
Hello everyone, good to see you all. Hello. Hi. Hi. Hello. So, as Suzanne said, I'm Hannah. Some facts about me, because we're going to learn about me tonight. I'm from a place called Southport. Does anyone know? No? Do we know Southport? Anyone? Yeah? A couple of raised hands at the back. Some facts about Southport for those of you lucky enough to have never been. We're on the coast, we're a coastal town. We have our own theme park there, where you can catch chlamydia from riding Bloxman. And if you stand on the coast, on the beach, if you stand on the beach and you look across the sea, you can see Blackpool. Really clearly, you can see Blackpool. It's really, really close. You know, practically next door. In fact, it looks so close that it looks like you could really easily walk across the sand from Southport to Blackpool. And people do. And those people die. Because you can't actually walk from Southport to Blackpool, but people still try. Every year someone tries, they go across and then they die. And then, awkward. And you know, the Southport newspaper, they run a story about it and then they put a note at the bottom that says, hey, can people please stop trying to walk to Blackpool from Southport? I mean, guys, we literally have a direct bus. What are you even doing? You're trying to escape Southport to get to Blackpool. You're like the shittest refugees ever. Okay, there are people trying to leave their war-torn countries, and you're trying to escape Southport to get to Blackpool. No one needs to go to Blackpool that badly. What have they got in Blackpool? Apart from the highest number of people in the UK on antidepressants. It's what they've got in Blackpool. You don't need to leave Southport for that. Because we have the highest number of people in the UK growing weed. So it's the same thing. So, apart from being from the weed capital of the UK, I'm also pretty old. It was my birthday recently. It wasn't that recent anymore, but I'm just going to say it is. And I turned 24. I'm just looking to see if anyone believes that I'm actually 24, and you probably all do, great. Fantastic. So, at the very least, I didn't think I looked 24, I thought I looked a bit younger, but actually, apparently, I must look older than 24, because I was in Sainsbury's the other day, and I don't know if you've seen Sainsbury's, like, giving out these, like, Lego trading cards when you buy stuff. Like trying to jump on the Pokemon card bandwagon that died in the early 2000s. And there was a man in front of me at the tills, and he just paid, and the woman was like, oh, do you want these Lego trading cards? And he said, oh no, I'm fine. But then he sort of looked at me and went, oh, and unless this young lady wants to take them home for her kids. I know, right? I was genuinely quite speechless when he said, like, I was so angry, I threw my toddler at him. It was mainly the plural that got me, because I was like, okay, fair enough, 24 might be not that weird to have like one kid, but it was like the multiple. Like this guy looked at me and he was like, yeah, this girl, she definitely has more than one kid. I mean, 24 24 is too young to have more than one kid, right? I mean, I know from the north, but, you know. So aside from looking like a mother of three, I also feel really old. People keep telling me not to. They're like, you're only in your 20s, you've got your whole life ahead of you, stop worrying about it. I'm like, yeah, but also, what you may not know is that when you hit your 20s, there are already a lot of things you can never do because you're too old. So like, I was thinking about this the other day, I could never be an Olympic athlete. Could never do that, you know. Olympic athletes, they train in their field from a really young age, all through their entire lives. I've not been training in anything for my entire life, apart from exceptional paranoia, but they don't hand out medals for that. Or maybe they do. They just haven't told me. I could never learn a language, not fluently. You know, once you get 18, your ability to learn a language plummets, so I can't do that. How am I ever going to learn Welsh now? And maybe most tragically of all, I can no longer be a teenage mum. You know, if I wanted to do that, that ship sailed years ago, and I didn't even notice it happen. How am I ever going to be a massive disappointment to my parents now? I'll tell you how I'll be a massive disappointment to my parents. It's by doing an English degree in Lancaster, when I could have done something useful. Oh no. It wouldn't actually be that bad if I was like the first person in my family to go to uni, but I'm just not. Both my parents went, they're both successful doctors. And the thing about growing up with doctor parents that you learn from a very young age is that there's no such thing as being too ill to go to school. And this led to me receiving what was probably the most embarrassing award of my life, and yes, there are such things as embarrassing awards. I was in year 11, it was the last day of high school, we were all having an assembly, and I went in and they sat me in the middle, which was weird, because my last name begins with a W, so I'm normally sat at the back. So, but then it became apparent, as the assembly went on, that we'd all been split into two groups, with the front group receiving awards, and the back group not. And I was the last person to be receiving an award. But I didn't know what in, because I did at that school, I did nothing. You know, people going up, someone went up like to get an award for the best grade in our English exam, someone went up for like raising the most amount of money for charity, someone else went up for being the person to get our deputy head thrown in prison for being a pedo. and you know, and then it finally got to me, the last person, and I walked on the stage, what the hell are they giving me? And then my headmistress just said, in the microphone in front of everyone, Miss Hannah, so Hannah is receiving her award today for 99.9% attendance over 5 years. Yeah, that's right. I missed one day of high school, and that was to attend a funeral that my mother tried to have rearranged to the weekend so that I wouldn't actually miss it. I miss you, Dad. So I had to go on the stage and collect my biggest loser in the school award. But that wasn't by any means the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me. No, I'm going to tell you about that now. So a few years ago, I accidentally sent a picture of my ex-boyfriend's penis to my ex-boyfriend. Not a different one, the same one. I sent a guy a picture of his own penis. We'd been broken up for like a year. We hadn't spoken in months. Like, just imagine his reaction. He's like walking along, his phone buzzes, and he's like, oh, Hannah, she probably hasn't spoken in so long. I wonder what she wants. That's a penis. Oh, very funny, huh? So mature. She sent me a, yeah, it's probably the penis of the new guy she's sleeping with. Oh, isn't that so funny? No, wait. No, that's definitely my penis. What does that mean? What is she trying to say with that? Does she want me back? Does she want to see me? Has she just gotten a lot worse at conversation over this? What does she mean with that? Just for some context, I was trying to send it to a friend, and I accidentally forwarded it to him, so that's how that happened. And unsurprisingly, he responded with a very fair, what the fuck? And I thought, there's no really coming back from this. I'm just going to have to be completely honest with him. So I said, I'm really sorry about that. I was trying to send it to my friend. And he said, fair enough, let me know what she thinks. Thank you very much, and have a good night.
Hello, how are we doing? We good? Woo! Good, good. So, I went to Alaska a few years ago. Oh, yes, I know, I'm well travelled. And we went to a town in Alaska called Talkeetna. Now, the great thing about Talkeetna is that their mayor is a cat. I know, right? So he's called Mayor Stubbs, and he's not mayor anymore, but he was mayor for 20 years, quite literally because when he was elected, the people just decided that they didn't like any of the human candidates. You just imagine for a second being one of those human candidates. You're running for mayor of your town, and you get to the big day, and they're like, and the results are in. It's a cat. It's a what? Oh, you know that the stray cat we found in the skip out back rolling around in filth? Well, the people have decided, well, that's who they want. Well, this is completely outrageous, like a man's a meeting with the mayor at once, and I'm afraid that can't possibly be arranged today. You see, he's got a very full schedule today. He's chasing rats until noon, and then he's going to be knocking some glasses off a table until at least 3 o'clock, and then he's got an urgent meeting with the finance director about tax reforms. So his name was Mayor Stubbs, named Stubbs because he didn't have a tail. So effectively named after his disability. A little bit like my car. So my car is called Hilda because she doesn't climb hills very well. I didn't actually name the car. Me and my friend, we decided we were going to name each other's cars because it seemed like a very middle-class white girl thing to do. She had a pink car, so naturally I told her it had to be called Jezebel. And also because it's an Audi and therefore it was a slut for petrol. So we were going into Talkeetna, and at the time, so Alaska, we didn't have much Wi-Fi or data when we were there, so I didn't have the opportunity to message the guy I was seeing at the time very often, just little snippets. And the thing you need to know about him is that he was an insanely jealous man, which I didn't know at the time because we'd only just started going out. But I managed to send him one message before we got to Talkeetna. And that message, for some reason, was, just arriving in Talkeetna now, I'm going to go and find the mayor and give him a big cuddle. With no context. And I put that phone away. And then we went into Talkeetna, and I was so excited, I couldn't wait to go to the mayor's office, to see him there behind his little desk, scratching paper, licking babies, calling in his assistant to open the door for him, and then he decides he doesn't actually want to go out with him. And we get there, and it's less of an office, it's more just a general store that exists in the town. And it's not so much a desk as it is just a sleigh in the corner where he sleeps on a pile of reindeer pelts. Which is still pretty fucking cool, let's be honest. I mean, I didn't see it happen, but I really hope that he got pulled around the town on that sleigh by a team of huskies. So I get to go see him, and I go in, and it's great. He is a gracious gentleman. Let me give him little belly tickles and everything. And a while later, I managed to find some more Wi-Fi. And I check my phone, and I see I have several unread messages sent in succession from my ex following the message about cuddling the mayor. The first one is just, what? Followed by, why do you want to cuddle some random old man? It's very presumptuous. Assume that the mayor is a man and not, in fact, a cat. And then just like a very charming, I'll kill him. He's a great guy. And then there's like a pause where I didn't get a message for a while, and then he sent another, and it was, oh. Followed by, I just googled mayor of Talkeetna. At this point, he hadn't responded again, so I sent him a message and said, and who is the mayor of Talkeetna? The cat. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the story of how I left my boyfriend for a cat. It's true. It turns out I wanted more than just cuddles from him. We hit it off. We're very happy together. He couldn't believe it. He was outraged. But I was like, well, what do you expect? He's the mayor. He's going places. He has a sleigh. What do you have? I'll tell you what he did have, a really unusual political leaning. So on the day that Margaret Thatcher died, this is relevant by the way, I don't just mark my life events based on where like political leaders have died. On the day she died, I went round to his to hang out, and he answered the door to me, and he was wearing a black armband around the top of his arm, which is what people wear when they're mourning someone. And so he answered the door, and I was like, "Oh, hey, what's with the band there?" And he said, "You not heard what's happened today?" And he looked at me like I was crazy. And the annoying thing is I never actually found out why he was mourning Margaret Thatcher, because I asked him and he just said, "Well, you know, it's respectful." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess." But I mean, let's just put the politics aside for a second. I don't really care about that. You know, let's just forget about that side of it. To mourn an ex-prime minister who wasn't even in power when either of us were alive, that's weird, right? Because you know who else died that same year? That guy from Glee. And I would have been like much less weirded out if he'd been mourning him than Margaret. So he was a bit of an odd guy, in hindsight, I guess. He was my first boyfriend. We met when I was 18. I didn't have any sort of romantic endeavours before him, partly because puberty was unkind to me, but, well, not in one respect, but mostly. But mainly it was because I was really weird as a teenager. And in school I always thought I was going to hang on to my weirdest kid in the class crown. But then I met this girl called Shannon. And Shannon and I, we had a weird like back and forth kind of battle for title of the weirdest kid in school. Where I'd be like, "Yeah, you think you're so weird, well I have magazine cutouts of Simon Cowell glued to the inside of my homework diary. So that I get to see his face every time I open it." Don't ask. But then she'd just be like, "Well, I like to stab people." Fair enough, take it, you know, it's skills. But she didn't think, so stabby Shannon, she liked to stab people. But she never stabbed me, or never tried to. I don't know whether it was because like, I dyed my hair black and had like skulls on my socks, and she thought we were like kindred spirits or something, but she never tried to stab me. And that like made me feel really powerful. Like I was a mafia boss and I could like put a hit out on people. Because people used to come to me like I could take them. Like, so literally someone ran up to me while I was having lunch in my film room, and someone ran over and was like, Hannah, Shannon's cornered Emily in the bathroom and she's trying to stab her in the neck with a compass." And I was like, "You come to me? It's the day of our mock GCSE English exam. And you ask me to spare your friend. You disrespect me. Now get out of my phone room before my cheese and tuna panini grows cold." So Emily got stabbed. But in fairness to me, one time she told me my haircut made me look like Noel Fielding when he was on Night Bush, so let that be a lesson. You should always be nice to people who have friends who like sharp things. So I guess in hindsight I wasn't that weird. But I did once try to text my cat when I hadn't seen him for a while. I was literally at my desk and I was like, "Oh, I wonder where my cat is, where's it gone?" And I literally picked up my phone, unlocked it and opened the text bit before I realised. Cats don't have the opposable thumbs required to send text messages. And even if they did, they 100% would not text back. You know who would text back? Stubbs. Stubbs would text me back. That must be why I've not heard from him in so long. The lack of thumbs, not the lack of love for me. Anyway, so my ex and I were, he's still to this day my longest ever relationship. It was 3 years. And in that time, we hit pretty much every major relationship milestone, apart from the whole kids and marriage bullshit, but you know, the ones that matter. Meeting the parents, going on holiday, that kind of thing. There was one thing that we never did, and I still to this day have never managed it with anyone, and that is taking a shit in front of your partner. And not like in the kinky sense, just like in the bathroom, like, because this is something that people do when they've been in a relationship for a really, really long time, apparently. But like, I just can't imagine it. like just being there with someone in the room and you're having a shit, and that is like such a power play. Like Stubbs used to use his litter tray when I was in the room all the time. You know, he had that like mayoral confidence in him. But I just can't ever envision myself being able to poop with someone there. But I do think that when I do, like that is how I'm going to know that he's the one. And when I can look a guy in the face and say, baby, you're the man I want to take a shit in front of while you brush your teeth next to me. So I realised something important about relationships a while back. I'm going to share it with you now because I think everyone needs to know. It's about pet names. So pet names that you give your partner. I realised recently that it is really, really, really important that you think very carefully before you assign someone a pet name. Because once you do, you can never get that name back. Ever. Okay, that name is gone. Like you cannot use the same pet name for multiple partners. That is sick. Once you give someone a pet name, that name is theirs. It does not matter if you break up, they get to keep it. They take it away with them. And you can't have it back. Okay? Do you guys have any idea how many great pet names I have lost that I gave to someone and now I can't reuse them? Snuggle Bunny is gone. Can't use that again. Cutie Face Bubble Butt. That's another one. Gone. That's not making a comeback. You know the worst one is? The worst name that I've lost that I can never re-give to someone now? Kitten. I gave Kitten to a complete and utter bellend. You stole Kitten from me, Stubbs. Fluffy wanker. He never called me back. So just take that lesson away with you, okay? If you're going to affectionately name someone, make sure it's a name you don't care about losing. Or alternatively, just affectionately call them shithead, so that way it works both pre and post breakup. Probably the most important lesson of all is that cats make great mayors, but terrible romantic partners. Thank you.